Do 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 do. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody in the chat. Let's go. Hello, everybody in the chat. Let's go. Hello, everybody in the chat. Let's go. Uh, hmm. Why is it doing that? Another. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. You alright, everyone? We're back again for the Renegade Master. How is everyone? How are you? Rolling, rolling, rolling. So, what is up? Wait for some people to get in. Jesse, how you doing? Liza. People have got the most strangest YouTube names. MCaps, that's easy. Hello, my twin flame. Oh, 3. Lisa, Diane, Rykenners, my twin flame 3. Where are you doing today? What am I doing today? I have just done a remote viewing for Gemini again. And I've done the extended version. Yeah, so we're kind of getting through them. But I've got to post that a bit later. Can't do no remote viewing on here now, no. Good, thank you, love. How are you doing? I'm good. Yeah, feeling really good, relaxed, chilled out. I've been out for a drink with my mates. I've been doing a lot of taxi runs. Libra. I've got to do another Libra reading at some point. Or a Leo remote viewing. Thank you, really appreciate it. So what we also do on here is super chat questions. Quite a few Libras up in the house. Is anybody traumatic? We haven't actually got long tonight because I got a feeling my phone might go off at some point. Leo. Libra. Cancerians that watch you. What's that? What's that? Why don't I do Cancer readings? I don't know. I judge. I don't judge star signs. I go by likes and subscribes. If I do a reading that doesn't do very well with the amount of views that it gets, YouTube doesn't favor me doing that. So it favors you to do the ones that do really well. I'm not like normal readers that will just go through doing the same ones. I do that over on the other side on the join button, and that is where you will get constant readings all the time. But when it comes to YouTube, YouTube's different. Okay, you have to go with the algorithm. If you go against the algorithm, your channel dies. It doesn't succeed. It fails. So the algorithm will say, stop doing these readings because people are not watching them. They're not really liking them. You're not getting many views. And in order to put your YouTube channel in a healthy position, do the ones where people are really watching, liking, commenting, and you're getting a lot of views. So it tells you to do that. And it pretty much says, if you're not going to do that, then we're not going to push the videos out for you. That's why I say to everyone, like, share, and comment, and watch it as many times as you can. So YouTube starts to think, oh, people do like this. The YouTube algorithm is a computer, right? So if people are not liking all of the videos, then it's not promoting it. So the computer thinks no one likes the video. Yeah, unfortunately, YouTube is about a business, right? You have to look at it like the people that do YouTube constantly, they run their own business, right? Now, when you're looking at, say, if I was making cakes and selling cakes, you would say, well, only make the cakes that people want to buy. Why are you making pizzas for when people want cakes? What are you making pizza for? You're a cake maker. So loads of people want cakes, so stop making pizza and make cakes. YouTube's the same thing, right? It's a business, and you do what does well. Or Boswell. Good morning from Arizona. How you doing? So, like I said, if you guys didn't know, surely majority of you people can afford $4 per month. Like, it's really not a lot of money. Like, and you get as many readings as you could possibly cram into your brains. Like, as I'm constantly doing tarot readings on the join button all the time. Like, you guys don't see it, but that's what's there. The readings are there. And I pay a lot of attention to it as well. Like, I don't just give you a 2-minute reading. Some of them have been about 3/4 of an hour, right? And you're getting singles reading, couples reading. You're getting the metaphysical return energy, and then all of the advice of what I would do, and then how you are on your progress spiritually. And you get all of that for the price of $4 per month. Like, some readers are possibly charging you £15 for one extended. You get all of them. Like it's a bargain. For me, $4 doesn't even get me a pint of milk. Like, it don't. Try not to spiral. Yeah. So, again, I'll ask you guys, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 when you're abandoned? So, I'll give you another piece, right? So, this is actually what I just channeled for Gemini. I haven't scribbled it off yet. But I'll give you another piece of advice that you may already know or you've completely forgot about. But it is vital to understand about validational loops, to stop the looping cycle and to break free from it so you can meet someone, right? Where it doesn't happen, right? Karmic energy is something that comes around. And when you deal with abandonment loops, right? We're looking at the abandonment loops and everything that I've taught you so far, right? Every time you can't learn anything other than abandonment from the person that abandoned you. If you feel really bad when you've abandoned, you're not learned anything, right? So say you're in a relationship here. There are two people. One, say the male and the female. And they're both in relationships. And you're going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and breaking up and getting back together and obsessing about one another, and it's a karmic trauma bond, right? Neither of you really want to be left alone. Now, if you do break up and say retrograde moment hits, and then say 3 or 4 months later, after you've broke up, one of you that normally left, if goes back, the person says, what are you doing? And I thought we split up, and I thought, oh no, I've been thinking about you and I really want to get back with you, right? You abandoned that person. But you were supposed to abandon them. You're supposed to abandon each other, right? So when you do break up, and if you break up permanently, you think, oh, well, that's okay, right? Because when we wasn't supposed to be together in anyway, so we was supposed to abandon each other, and you were. But when you meet a new person, this is where it's unfair. When you meet a new person, whatever happened with you two that abandoned one another, you have to pay that back karmically with a new person because you abandoned this one. But then you say, okay, well, that's really unfair because they abandoned me as much as I abandoned them. We weren't supposed to be together. That's what you've been telling me, Steve. Yeah? But the bit that you don't see and the bit that you miss is that when you meet someone else and you go through another abandonment cycle, that's because you need to pay back this karmic energy because you abandoned them. So they go off, they meet someone over here, right? They go off, they meet someone over here, and these two also go through abandonment, right? They go through abandonment. This is this one here, this one there, they go through abandonment. You go into this one and you go through abandonment, right? Why? Because you have to pay that back karmically, because you abandoned this one, and then they start abandoning each other. But what you don't think is the reason why this is happening is because I abandoned my last relationship, right? Because we weren't supposed to be together. In order to physically learn abandonment and toxic cycles, when abandoned, you have to feel good. You have to feel good. Now, you might say, well, that's weird. Why would I feel good when I'm abandoned? That's because you don't know what it feels like to be loved. Because you haven't experienced it. You've only ever experienced chaos and abandonment. That's it. Right? So you don't know what love is. Nobody here, nobody there knows what love is. Because you've done nothing but been abandoned, gone into another one and got abandoned. They abandon you, you abandon them. And you spiral and you go around the wheel of abandonment. And it only ever stops when you're with, say, a new person, and you abandon each other, and you think, Steve said that karmically I've got to pay that back because of my last trauma bond. When this happens and I don't feel abandoned and we go our separate ways permanently, and I feel good because I understand it, I don't feel abandoned anymore. You pass. You pass the test, retrograde test. When you degrade yourself and you go back and forwards and backwards and forwards, you're actually degrading yourself. You're going down. You're actually descending. You're not ascending, you're descending, right? Then when you go through another one, you descend and ascend and descend. That's the brain doing the fight or the flight, right? We went through that in another one. The fight, the flight, the fight, the flight, right? Fear of engulfment, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. Okay, they got father issues, they got mother issues. So then you start blaming the other one, right? Because you're going through a trauma bond. Now, if you think, well, I'm not trauma, I ain't got no trauma, they have. It's them that won't commit to me. Well, then leave them. How are you going to feel? Bad. Well, then, you can't leave them because you're going to feel abandoned. Oh, yeah. Right. So every time this happens and you actually feel abandoned, there you go. If you do not feel abandoned and you feel good, you get the lesson and you understand it. I never need to find a person that teaches me abandonment because I've already learned it. So Spirit won't give you another person that will abandon you because you don't need to learn that anymore. You've already passed. Muscle memory, right? I remember. Okay, I don't hold resentment, I don't judge, I don't blame, I don't chase, I don't need, I don't want, I don't fear. When you fear, you manifest an energy of the same person that fears rejection and abandonment. But then you think, well, why won't they commit if they actually fear me leaving them? Because they create the abandonment, and so do you, because neither of you want to be apart from one another. So you have an attachment. When you have an attachment, that means karmic. Right? And what is the planet of karma? Saturn. And what is that? The devil. So when the devil's present and Saturn is present and the energy is really strong and you're unable to leave, what are you? Under the influence of the devil. So you really start to fear. And what is it that you fear? They're doing witchcraft. They've met someone else. They're still talking to their ex. I'm being watched because of fear. Fear is something that physically grows in your mind. It duplicates and duplicates and duplicates. And this is why the majority of people believe or start to believe in all of the darkness and all of the bad things and all of that, because you're actually connected to a trauma bond that's karmic of the devil. It's influencing you. It's not the physical devil, right? So, like, I'm getting a few questions here, I'm on my own and I want to be on my own and all that. Great. But, I do get that. And like these messages don't never relate to me anymore. What are you watching tarot for? Right. Because I'm not a tarot reader that doesn't do, you can't get a really nice reading through something because you wouldn't be interested in watching it. If you had a great, perfect relationship and a great, perfect life and physically nothing was ever wrong, what are you watching for? You wouldn't. You would naturally be not interested anymore because you don't need an answer from anything. You don't need guidance. You don't need help. There's nothing wrong, right? A lot of people can either lie to themselves or, tarot can't ever tell you about being successful, because if you want to be successful but you're fearing the process, you're stressing and you're worrying and you're actually doing the same as what happens in your relationships. You fear not having it. So your most dominant thought is to not have it because I'm not successful. You tell yourself the majority of that most of the time and you're not successful because you keep checking on it all the time. I said to a lot of people, right, if you have an acne spot right there on your face and every time you look in the mirror it's there and you're like, fuck that fucking spot, man, I wish it would go. It's taken ages to clear up. It's just not. It's been there for weeks. Because every time I look at it in the mirror or someone reminds me of it and says, you got a big spot on your face, and you're like, oh, no, bro, it's been there ages. It's taken a long time to clear up, innit? I can see it. I know. So can I. But if it wasn't there and it was actually on your back, how long would that take to clear up? You wouldn't even know because you haven't even looked. So you probably wouldn't even check your back to see if it's still there because you forgot, because you haven't been watching it. You haven't been reminding yourself that it's still there, right? So why do I know all of this? Because I ain't coming back here anymore. I have 29 degrees in Scorpio North Node and rising. And that means that is my last time coming back here. That's why at the age of 49, I understand all of this stuff about fear and rejection and abandonment. I don't ever feel abandoned. I love being alone. It's nice to have company, sure, but my vibration has to give off a very good energy of self, and it cannot be closed off to not wanting relationships and tarnishing all women as the same, because then I have a projection of blaming. The last thing you ever want to do is actually lie to yourself. Right? Keep lying to yourselves. There's no point. Right, so why do we go through this as well? Because someone just mentioned like death of someone, right? Death is something that is a progressive energy that you're actually dying from the moment that you are born. The moment that you're born and you start to breathe, your progression of death is each day. Each day, each week, each month, each year, each century, right? You die, right? You're dying. So when old people get more than likely old, they don't fear dying. They're actually like, fucking, I've had enough now. I've seen my grandkids and my kids grow up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm okay now. Like, I'm just sort of like waiting for the day of when I actually pass away, right? They've got all their memories and they've done, they've accomplished whatever they've accomplished and they're settled and they're ready. That's why all these things happen for you, so you're never in a state of fucking panic if you die of old age, right? I'm not talking about people that suddenly die at a young age and stuff like that and people that don't want it. That's like, cause or accident of. But I'm on about like maturity of soul that's ready to pass, because when you stand at that gate of heaven at number 2 and be judged, if you start to fear anything and you don't feel like you've completed much, and you don't feel like you've ever met your true partner, you're all coming back again. What comes back karmically is yourself. Okay. So, in order to literally get over all of this stuff, if you can get yourselves at the point of when at least you understand it, because I can give you the tools, right? I can explain the tools to you, but I can't give you a dog and bark, right? So I can give you a car, but if you can't drive, what good is the car? So I can give you the tools of what it's like and possibly how to get there, but I can't do that for you, right? So it's all well and good me saying, well, yeah, Steve, all right, you might be full of this knowledge and whatnot, and we listen to you, but why can't I do it? It's because your preordained destiny tells you that you're more than likely going to be coming back and redoing it again and again and again and again until you understand about sacrifice, right? Loss, grief, right? Like I said, you can't understand these until you've done it. The only reason I can tell you is because I've done it, right? I've done it, right? So once you've done it, you understand it. And then when you understand it, you can use that in all areas of your life, like physically all areas of your life. You'll understand about what I think is what I manifest, right? What I have in my brain is what projects an energy of fear. Because even if you think you want it, right, that means you need it, and that means that you fear not having it. So you don't even have to want it, right? You have to kind of get on that wavelength of not really needing anything, right? Well, it was a busy day. Oh yeah, so like rehab. So if you look at it, oh, there you go, cheesecake. You've been waiting to get on a live. How you doing? Cheesecake. I do love cheesecake. If you look at it as like an addiction, right? Love is a drug. It's the most powerfulest drug there is, love. Right? It is. It's the most powerfulest drug there is. Because it's all built naturally from all of the chemicals in your brain, right? So it's natural drug that's not been cut with anything. It's just mixed and quartered, and there you go. Love is a drug, right? So if a heroin addict starts to take drugs and then is clean for 6 months, if they have a weak moment and they go back, they're addicted again. And then they have to become clean again. And what is a drug addict most fearful of when they're an addict is to be able to face the fact that they can't have that drug anymore in their life at all. They can't have it at all. They have to learn to live without it. So they get clean, and then they're vulnerable because they feel abandoned by their best friend and their crutch of what makes them escape reality. The feeling that covers up their natural feelings, so they're codependent. And then if they lapse again, they fear getting well again. So that year can turn into another year to another year. I'm not quite ready to be clean yet. I've got to make sure that my environment's right and my environment is stable enough yet. Right, so I'm just going to wait and wait, you know. So then, you know, they become clean, and that energy is exactly the same as your love lives of spiraling. The more you go back to an energy that shows you the same, that's your outcome. That is your outcome. There you go. I don't know, I could be channeling something about it. You went to a drug, what? I went to a drug online meeting yesterday for addiction. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. I used to be a counsellor a long time ago for drug and alcohol abuse. I did work in a rehab. And then therapy and whatnot and all that sort of stuff. But it has the same concept of life, of an addiction of drug. Because, right, also look at this. This is where I've got into arguments with people before as well. Everybody is so quick to say unconditional love. Right. So how many of you out there have got children? Right. And I love my children unconditionally. But what does a condition mean? It means a condition of belief. It means there are terms and there are agreements and there are conditions to what you're allowed to do. So if a child runs out into a road, there's a condition. Don't do it. You'll get run over. Don't run into the road. I need to teach you and show you not to run in the road. There's a condition, right? I love you that much. I don't want nothing to come to you. So the conditions are, you don't do this, right? You don't do that because I need to show you and to teach you. So there are conditions. There isn't an unconditional love, right? Now, when you have an extremely high vibrational energy of a soulmate and you don't find resistance and you don't argue, there are no conditions because you don't need to teach anything other than abandonment. Because if you're teaching abandonment, you're teaching resistance. You're learning resistance. When you meet your actual person, you don't need to teach them to be the way you want them to be because they will actually be yourself. So you won't need boundaries. You won't need to stop them from doing anything because they will complement your chart, right? So I've said before, numerology expresses time. Astrology can only be proven to fit someone else's chart when you're experiencing it, right? Why? Because we have fixed, mutable, cardinal, right? When you have a chart of 1 to 12, that's the chakras and whatever, it runs right through your body, bro, right? When the first or second house, it goes over to here. It goes over to here, right? And it goes over where the hell do you draw a star? But it makes a star, right? So it goes over from a fixed to a mutable to a cardinal. If you get a fixed energy that bounces off a fixed energy, you get resistance because of a traditional belief. So you play tennis with one another. I'm going backwards and forwards, bruv, trying to fucking tell you what to do. But you ain't listening. You ain't listening either, sweetie pie. Why are you not doing what I want you to do? Because that's fixed and there's no getting through because they're fixed, right? So then if you go off into another chart and you're like, okay, now my fourth house spins over to this one. That's mutable and that's cardinal. Why are you taking a long time to... You're like an airhead, bruv. You don't listen to a word I fucking say, do you? It's like in one ear and out the other. Well, I have a Gemini moon, right? I don't really focus too much on retaining that much information. Why are you so obsessed about it and why do you take so long to tell me? Well, I never really thought about telling you last week or last month. Well, hurry up then. Right, then you get into an argument and then that hits your fixed energies, right? But when you're aligned with someone and they're perfectly aligned with you, you won't have resistance. And that is where you'll probably find more of an unconditional love because you won't need to say, well, you know, I hope you're not seeing someone else. I hope you're not going to leave me. Will you do the washing up? Will you pull your weight? Will you do something? Will you stop doing all of this? Right? Because say, for instance, say one person does all the washing up, but the other one doesn't. It's because the other one actually really enjoys doing it for the other one. And it's like, well, I don't need to moan at him to do it because I love doing it. So I'm all right. Don't worry. This was, oh, thanks very much. I really do appreciate it. Oh, it's all right. I'm okay. Right? Not, oh, you don't never do anything and I'm doing everything. So when this person's not forced to say do the washing up, if this person's at work, they'll think, actually, she's at work tonight. She's going to be again, really tired when she gets home. So because she's not forcing me to do it or telling me to do it, I'm just going to do it off my own back. I think that would be a really nice gesture. So you do it off your own back, not because you're forced or told, right? When all of these align and you find that partner, you found harmony, you found peace, you haven't found resistance. So you haven't found abandonment. You won't argue with one another to tell each other to get out and you're getting on my nerves. To find that person is very difficult because that's 1 in a billion, right? It's 1 in a billion. And that's why you search for the one. So, do we have any questions? If it's related to tarot, then you'll need to leave a super chat. If it's not related to tarot and you want me to just explain something, then you're feeling some type of way there. So I could have been channeling there. See, channeling is, like I said, if I'm just talking about something, there's a good chance I'm just sort of like coming out with messages of what you're going through, right? That happened last night. I could feel him resisting asking me for help. His homework. Right. Yeah, like I said, some people can do that and they love doing it, and some people hate doing it. And some people can resent other people because they don't take any notice when it's not been done. Right? Everybody is different, but there's only one out there that's the same as you. One. And that's out of billions. There's only one person out there that matches that energy of you perfectly. One. Right? You can order a reading, Lisa. The app is there. It comes up in the Nightbot. Or you can leave a donation. But I'm not accepting what's happening for the rest of my year for a $1.99 thing. It's a few cards. So what's everybody been doing today then? Working? Thank you for the donation, Healthy Narcissistic Tarot. How do I know the difference of the energy of I supposed to help and think they're my person? I'm Virgo with the Libra. Right, so like I said, so how do you know a person whether you really want them or need them? How would you feel if you weren't with them and you had to leave them? How would you feel? Because if you're finding resistance and there's a lot of breaking up and there's a lot of like no communication, that's a karmic person. It's a karmic person. It's teaching you, right? Because that's why it's like, oh, I'm going to teach you a lesson by not speaking to you and not communicating with you because you didn't do what I wanted you to do there, right? You're not the way I want you to be. You didn't act the way I wanted you to, right? Pretending to work. So am I. This is not really me on here. Well, you're a great kid, like a gift and talented program. in school. I didn't do very well at school at all. No, I don't know what gate is. We don't have it in the UK. No, I was thick. I was a dunce at school. Didn't pass anything. Couldn't read or write. I was in the lowest grade person there was in school. I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't want to learn anything. I didn't want to listen to anyone. I didn't want to know anything. I was slightly overweight and I was bullied. Well, I wouldn't say bullied, but I was a follower. But everybody always come to me for advice. It was weird. All right, no, nothing like that. Thank you. Cheesecake, thank you for the $4.99. I really appreciate it. Would you like a question? How do we know if this is our last incarnation? What was the degree again? Well, mine was 29 degrees Scorpio north and rising. But I kind of know it in a way because I feel it, and I feel from the age of 29, I know all of this stuff now. It's like the soul can go through these transformative reflections of like, I'm bored now. Like, there's nothing for me to learn anymore. I don't, like, you know, I've got no lessons to learn. I've got nothing that I really need to know. Like, I've got no purpose anymore. Like, you can feel a lot like that. The soul can, I don't mean frustrated because I'm dealing with someone. I mean, Cupid's Terox. How you doing? So yeah, you can get very much to the point where you're like, there's really not much purpose that I see in things. Like now I'm doing my readings, right? Now I do my readings. When I do the tarot reading, on the other side on the join button, I'm literally just seeing the same patterns of behavior all the time. So I can get very like, there we go again. It's the same thing. It's the same lesson I'm trying to tell you, but you know, and then do another reading and I'm seeing the same and the same and the same and the same. Right. So you can get to the point where your calling is like, you know, what else can I teach these people apart from what I know? So you can end up feeling quite, you know, I need to know something else. Exhausting? It's not exhausting. I love life, I do. I'm definitely not exhausted. I don't struggle. So that's the good point, is like willing to at least learn. Like, I'm taking questions if people leave a donation on the super chat thing, but it's not like $1.99. Watch the rest of my year. Like, it's like within reason. Right? But yeah, like I said to you, I can give you the tools. I just can't bark for you. If I was to give you a dog, I can't bark. I can give you the tools, but I just can't do it for you. Like I can keep showing your patterns and I can keep showing you the same things happening as it did before, but that's the definition of madness. And that's why you feel like you're going mad and that you can't escape the root. the path. Because for a lot of you, it could well be that you're not supposed to, because you're more than likely supposed to come back to learn, right? There's a time limit of learning, right? And you know where you're like, well, I've learned all these things, I've done all these things, I've learned that one, I've learned that one, I've learned that one and that one and that one. So there's not too much me for to learn, so you know your progression. How do we cleanse our energy? Well, you haven't really got energy. You've got memory. You've got thought. Like, you know, I don't use stones, crystals, fucking sage and dinging bells and bonging and all that shit. I don't use it. The mind is the greatest energy recovery of all, because that's where your energy comes from, your mind. Like people that have ADHD, they can really suffer through fatigue because they haven't got dopamine, right? And they're mixtures of their brain that create feelings and energy is all created by the mind. Everything is created by the mind. That's what gives you that, right? So people with mental health and stuff, they lack in those certain drugs. So they lack in certain areas of how they feel, drained and tired, right? So that tells me, well, where are the feelings come from? Well, they're not stored in a gland. They're actually given to you by what you're thinking. So like I said, if I was to say to you, right, here's £1 billion and you don't have to work ever again in your life, how would you feel? Absolutely on top of the fucking world, more than likely, right? If you didn't, there's something wrong with you, and that's called depression and fucking, right? You know, I'm giving you billions of pounds and a way out of life to be as happy as you want and do what you want and go where you want and never have to work again. Just with that one action will change your whole life and your whole feeling, right? Just by one action. But if I was to say, right, you've got to get up 2 hours earlier than you normally do, and I need you to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you will think that you're going to miss out on life. You got to go to bed early. Okay. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to get up in the morning, and you find it harder to get up each time you're told to get up at 3 in the morning. That's because you know an action is there that you've got to think about. You just thought, oh no, I've just had really bad news. I feel terrible. I've had really good news. I feel great. That's your brain. That's your brain. You've got to have a very strong mind, right? A very strong mind. And how you do that is by going through it and through it and through it and through it and over and over and over again until you're, I'm actually starting to feel really good every time this happens. And then you also learn to live presently. Look at things that are right in front of you when your mind starts to drift at something. Practice what's in front of me, a pen, a paper, a card, a lighter, a cigarette box, a can of drink, a camera, right? And then do it again, and then again, and again. And the neurons in your brain will start to figure another pattern out and think, okay, he seems to be doing this repetitively every single day or over the month. It's like learning a guitar. In order to learn the brain to do something, you have to work on the brain, right? It's no good working on your feelings. That's your brain, right? So it's muscle memory. Your brain is the biggest muscle there is, apart from a man's schlong. But, your brain is a huge muscle. And if you don't teach the brain, it ain't going to learn nothing. What can I expect from the Scorpio next? I need names. I can't just go, what can I expect from a Scorpio next? Right? They'll probably give me a reading and a Scorpio reading. Yeah, discipline, mind coaching. That's why I offer one-on-one video calls. Right? It's not like channel something for me, Steve. No, I don't do that. And I don't teach people out of remote view either, because people keep asking me that one. Right? I help you with your brain. There's a little button at the bottom. Adam. So what is your name, Adam? So I need your name as well. Adam, and please tell me your name's not Eve. Ashley. Right, what's going on between Adam and Ashley? What is going on between Adam and Ashley? The Tower. A breakup. An awakening. Heartache. Fear of abandonment and rejection. Trying to find out what's happening. Having a bit of a breakdown. Needing clues and answers. Wanting communication. I'm in love with you. Abandonment cycles and looping and arguing. Hard work. Work. Not speaking. You guys are not speaking. Why are you not speaking? Because you're disagreeing? Kick her out. Kick her out. She's got her own place. Kick her out. Get the police round and drag her out. Sorry, but you got to think of yourself. You won't win. You won't win the argument. It's because you haven't took a physical action. Your actions have only been of arguing and telling. You can't tell an elephant to piss off out the room because it won't take any notice of you. Right? In order to win an argument, you have to have someone to remove her. That's the harsh truth. Are you okay with that? So, yeah, you're not speaking. You're not talking. Why are you not talking? Why are you not speaking? I've tried. Well, I mean, because they're family, but it's doing your head in, you've got to go to any kind of legal representation to say, I'm sorry, but she doesn't live here and I need her removing, please. Right? Now, she's going to give you a load of resentment and have a go at you, but it's not as if you're kicking her on the street, is it? You got your own home to go to. So, So, yeah, Adam and Ashley, you're ignoring each other. Right? So you found resistance within your chart. Your chart, you're not aligned with this person. You're aligned with someone that argues with you. He may be cheating, right? So what do you mean he may be? Where have you picked up the maybe from? Tarot? Because this is where I end up having an argument with other readers. or the knowledge of am I watching general readings and it's come up with a third party and I've created that myself, created the drama myself because I think there is, and now I've accused someone of cheating that might not be, and then I'm inadvertently actually gaslighting them because I'm making them believe I think there's a third party, and that's the cause of a lot of fucking harm that tarot can do, right? You have to have proof. I can tell you there's an energy of someone thinking. These are swords. They mean thoughts. They don't actually mean it is. It just means that someone thinks there's a third party, right? And then if I get, no, you're wrong, there is one, well, then I would say, well, what are you with them for? Well, I love them. No, you fear being left, right? No, I was told, yet he denies. So you only got one option, then you leave. You leave. And if you can't, that's because you fear being alone, right? Because then you fear that you might be wrong. So then what you'll do is you will look for validation or proof of still trying to prove what you're already saying that you know. You was told by someone Did they lie? Right. This is the whole point of validational truth of oneself. If you know enough and you're okay with that, leave. If you're not okay with that and you want to know more, you'll physically have to find out yourself and see it with your own eyes. You'll have to grab their mobile phone, follow them, catch them, do all of the above to physically see it. I mean, yeah, it's okay, but if that's enough confirmation for you, but I will tell you that the Three of Swords is a thought. Tarot isn't a yes, there is, because there's multiple ways of reading this, right? It's saying that there's a third energy there, but it's saying that someone thinks that there is, because swords mean thoughts. They're not actions. If they are actions, it means I know there is. They broke my heart because I found them and I see the fact that they cheated on me and I know it because they told me and I see it myself, so I know. So the better the devil with the know is what you already know, right? If you don't know, it's a thought and it's what do I do with a thought, right? That's the truth of readings. Hello from the Netherlands. Right. So that's kind of that one. So you're in a fight of will of like who's going to speak first, and then you got waiting at the end and possible ending there. So who was next? So Cheesecake, I think you donated and left something before. So what was yours? Well, yours is answerable, Cheesecake. By me being able to really say, yeah, like if someone's there, right, the harsh truth is if you don't want the person there and you're telling them to leave but they're not, you have to take legal action. That's why police are there. The police are there to do within the law that you can't do. They can do what you can't, right? Because you can't remove a person. Right, well, you can, but it's up to you whether you want to do that. If you don't want to get physical and possibly get put up on charges, then that's what the police are for. So you have to find someone that is going to understand of you saying, I can't do this anymore, she doesn't live here, I need someone to remove her. That's the only way that will happen. Because it's been over a year, yeah. So it's showing you, because there's no actual action, that things are not changing because you haven't took an action. You've said an action, but you haven't took one, right? An action is something that you do, not say, right? She goes to her husband on her days off. Okay, so change the locks. That's what I would do. If you leave the house, I'm going to get the locks changed and you're not going to be coming back in. And it's simple as that. Right? Life will teach you to think about yourself, and if you don't, karma will mess you up. Because karma is a very, very, very selfish planet. And it teaches you to put yourself first. And if you don't, then you get that. Right? Selfish. You have to be selfish. Think of yourselves. Right? So now we've got Gregory and Danielle. What is going on between Gregory and Danielle? Well, I don't know if you're in a third party, but you've got 2 3s straight on the back. 4 of Cups. Don't want to speak, don't want to... okay. You've got more of a sexual kind of experience there. This can be more of a fed up and wanting to talk, because this is either refusing to talk or it's waiting to talk. It's both. If you look in the card, it'll show you. I'm waiting to talk, or I'm not wanting to talk. Which one is it? Now, it is concentrating on 3, and you do have 2 of those there. So again, if there's a third party, do you know there is, or are you trying to find out that there is? This is for Gregory and Danielle. Gregory and Danielle. Ten of Wands, marriage or divorce. This is possible marriage. If you are married and you are speaking about divorce, that's divorce, because this is church, but this is also planning or wanting a wedding or wanting to get married. All right, which one is it? I need to know from you first before I can guide you in the right way without me just fucking saying, well, it's either divorce or marriage. Which one is it? So that's for Gregory and Danielle. So he ghosted me. I talked. He came back around. I backed up. Now I'm going on a trip with him tomorrow. Well, there you go. You kind of reconciled. You reconciled. We're not even dating, really. Oh. What is that then? A friend? Does that mean it's a friend? Because I can assure you, if I had that much complications with a friend, I'd fuck him off tomorrow. Like, who needs friends? Sorry, that's just a bit of my personality of like my timeline there of where I'm like, that's what I would do. But so if you're not even dating, do you like him? Or because there's a bit of a strange scenario to be in of we're not even dating, but he ghosted me, because that means that you're not even together. But does it mean that you want him? Argument that happened, but we want each other. Hey, that's a strange one, that one. Well, I mean, if you're going on holiday, there is a chance of like nookie, right? It's here. Because the King of Wands is a very charismatic sexual energy, right? This is open and pregnancy and wanting. But this is also like wanting connection, wanting relationship, wanting a yes or a no, are we or are we not? And the Emperor is also like the man. So we started dating, then the argument, then I moved. Yes, I want him. So the energy is coming from you wanting him. What was his name again? What are both your names again? Gregory and Danielle. So, what does Gregory want from Danielle? What does Gregory want from Danielle? Well, he thinks you're very caring, looking after. What does Gregory want from Danielle? Well, unless you're Gregory. Two of Cups. Slow progression, getting to know, but calm down a little. Let's go and see what happens. We need to overcome this and communicate. But yeah, kind of the same thing, but of a slow progression, really. So you've got a Two of Cups, you do have that. But in the two phase, right, even if you broke up or whatever, he called out the blue and asked me to go out with him. Right, there you go. So you've got a reflection of retrograde. Don't forget you're in retrograde until the 29th. So you're going to have returns. You must have been in the reading, which was Aquarius, which is like Leo or Life Path 8. but it was about a return. So you've returned during retrograde. You've made a plan to go with one another. If you can get past retrograde and it doesn't go wrong, you're progressing, right? But people that normally get to retrograde, if they don't get past retrograde, the feeling wears off, and suddenly it spazzes out, and it goes wrong. Thank you very much for the super chat. So yeah, this is just more of an overcoming the Three of Swords, communicating and then going with the flow. But when you come up against the Two of Cups, it's about slow. That's why you've got this energy. You've crossed paths with someone again. Don't rush. Don't force or rush. Okay? It must be at a steady pace. Okay? Let the energy and let the talking without like really asking or like, I need an answer now and I love you and I want you, and try not to give off all of those feelings and emotions. And you got twos, you have to start, we've literally just crossed paths again. We're kind of starting again. The last thing I want to do is start projecting again, of fearing and thinking that the same thing's going to happen as before when you ghosted me. You got to keep your mind relaxed, right? Because you could start to manifest that into reality, right? To keep it at an even keel, you have to just go with the flow and let things start to happen at a slow pace. It does start to speed up again, but you have to naturally let that start to happen without forcing it to happen. Okay? So that's Gregory and Danielle. So for these, if you think, I like these readings, it's a good way of reading it. You might want to consider joining the join button. Because when I have actual time and I do a proper reading, it's kind of the way that I read. So that was Gregory and Danielle. Then the next person was, what are my next steps with Chris? My name is Athena. What a nice name. Athena. Sounds like a Greek mythology name. I'm just worrying that I'm not going to get around to doing all of your readings if my phone goes off and I have to disappear, because I'm also a taxi driver and I will have to leave. Chris and Athena. I am dyslexic, guys, so you'll have to excuse moi. So what is coming up for Chris and Athena? What is coming up for Chris and Athena? Eight of Swords, stuck at home, emotionally unfulfilled and not really much happening. Four of Cups, not reaching out and not saying anything and not doing anything. Three of Pentacles. Six of Cups. Is it an actual relationship or is it a wanting and needing? So for anybody that thinks about like asking me a question, if you haven't spoke to anyone in quite a long time, I need to know that before you ask that question, because you're asking the impossible. Like if you, like, how does a person from the 1960s feel about me that I haven't spoke to? Right. Thank you. Yes, my dad was born in Greece. His was spelled with an I and not an E. Do you want to explain a little bit? Athena and Chris. Because there's a lot of, I mean, this is a bit of a dirty energy, but it's, passion is there, The wanting and the needing is there. The strong energy is there, but is it reciprocated? Welcome to the tarot card readings. Thank you so much for joining the join button. I really appreciate it. Actual relationship. Right. So there's the Six of Cups. So that does mean relationship. But there is also... Oh, okay. Sorry, my actual person is... My client is okay. So I probably don't have to rush off. Well, I don't know, my mate might be phoning. But anyway, what is kind of going on with this relationship? Because it's a little bit difficult to actually read it. We both are wanting to be together, but struggling to get past some things. Well, it does express struggling to get past some things. But what things? Work? Distance? Can't even see. Well, distance. Distance? Physical distance? Time? Working? Needing to go to work and there isn't much time to be with one another? Because the relationship's there. But yeah, these are like stuck at home, bored, fed up, emotionally unfulfilled, want more, need more, not more of a connection. This is like, I wish you would take notice of me and reach out and tell me, or, take me out or something, but I'm getting slightly complexed and fed up. Three of Pentacles is like, possibly like you're always working and you never really think of me. Six of Cups, are in a relationship, but it's a bit, yeah. And then you want things when you want it. Like, So, yeah, so you've actually put we both are wanting to be together, which tells me that you're wanting, but you're not. So does that mean distance? Two of Wands. Distance. Behavior patterns. We both recognize them, but it feels like a loop at times. Yeah. I mean, it feels like that to me. It feels like being in a relationship, but bored. Thank you for joining the readings. I really appreciate it, for joining the join button. Rebecca Davies. So for Chris and Athena, it feels like that you're in a commitment, but it's boring. Nothing's really happening in it. It happens when it does, but it's possibly maybe on one person's terms. And that's kind of it. It's difficult for me to really guide you through it because it just feels like a very boring, tedious relationship where there isn't really much happening. Eight of Swords. Stuck at home. Wanting to go out. Six of Swords. Wanting to meet up. Nine of Cups. Refusing. Heartbreak. Kind of ending. Looping. Thank you, Rebecca. I really appreciate it. Four of Cups. It's abandonment looping. It's in your future as well. Like, it's not really ending. It's just continuing on. It's feeling lonely and like in a dead-ended, boring relationship that's just not progressing. You're with a soulmate that resists. You're resisting each other, really. You're pushing each other out because you're supposed to. right? Because you're learning abandonment looping, right? When you're on your own and he's not around, if you feel shit and down and you're really feeling in the Five of Cups, that's what it's trying to teach you, but whilst with them, right? So whilst with them, you feel alone. So why be with them? Because you might as well be without them and feel alone. But if you can't break away from it, then the better the devil you know is, well, I feel alone anyway. So why am I even with you? Well, because I want you when I want you. Well, that's not good enough because that's not what I want. You have to know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, then you're stuck, right? Because you're also like, well, I know what I want, but I just daren't dump you because I don't want to be without you. And that's the fear of being alone. And so it's a very strange one, that one. It's a very looping, abandonment looping. You have to kind of ask yourself that question there, Athena. Am I okay with being in this commitment if it stays like this forever? Right? And if your answer is, well, no, I don't want it to stay like this forever, but it's destined to the star, then you have to ask yourself the question, then what am I doing here? Wasting my time when I could find someone that is better matched. But if you fear the process, you fear being left, and then you loop again. So that was Athena. What does my ex, whom I'm thinking most of the time, people, man, I can't answer that. I'm not psychic. Well, I am, but I need names. I need names. I can't just say what does X, whom is thinking of most of the time, think and feel for me, and where is it going between us? I mean, nowhere, because if it's just a thought, it's just a thought. There's no communication. But I need names. That's Aisha Sadi. I know, right? I know. It's not easy, Athena. Like, it's not. Like I said, sometimes we have to snap out of it, right? And look at our environment and think, is this a really good relationship? Am I enjoying myself? Am I feeling wanted and loved? And, are we snuggling up by the fucking television and enjoying our time together? Because if you're not, you really have to look at it and think, why am I wasting my time? Right? Because you are, physically, you're wasting your lifetime. I'm not sure if that question was meant towards me, but I haven't seen him in a year. His name is Sven. No. A person can't think anything for you, is she, Aisha Saeed? Because you haven't spoke to the person in a year. If they was thinking about you or wanting you or whatnot, they would be communicating with you. You've missed the point of me being able to pick up anyone's feelings, because it's not going to be a true feeling because it's been a year, right? So it's like me just picking someone out of the hat that I used to like and then asking a tarot card reading, how do they feel about me? They can't even remember me, right? Because it'll be false. Like, how does Sven feel about Aisha Saeed? Yeah, that you're not talking. Distance. Yeah. Someone that I used to know. someone that I may have split up with in the past. This is that Sven person. Someone that I used to know. It's the song, right? Someone that I used to know. Yeah, long distance. I knew you a year ago. You may have had a karmic situation go on, but the devil is present because it's tricking you to think that the person might feel something from a year ago when physically that isn't possible. Like, it's not physically possible. Like, for the answer of what you want, you know. It's like me asking our whole old school friend that I haven't seen in a long time how they feel about me. You know, it's obviously going to come up with, well, I can remember Steve at school, but that'll be it. We haven't spoken in years, long distance, and that's kind of that, really. So I'm sorry I can't really give you an answer, but if you had have contacted me with a personal reading with that question, I would have refused to give you one. I'm sorry, but I would have done. Okay, because I wouldn't have wanted to take your money because it's not answerable. But it's someone that I used to know. So we are now at cheesecake again. Anna and Roman. What's happening between us, and what does hide from me that I need to be aware of? I don't know. Tell me about Anna and Roman. Anna and Roman. Anna and Roman. Queen of Cups. Communication, talking. Counterpart. You're arguing and ghosting and separating or not talking or fear of being rejected and abandoned here. Like I said, the Three of Swords is a thinking energy because it's a sword. So it means thoughts. So I can't never tell you, yes, there is a third party because it's telling me someone's thinking that there is, right? The trouble is that so many people have been conditioned to read readings or cards by listening to readers. Sorry if I keep slagging them off. But they keep getting the wrong meanings of how to actually read them. So when they come to me with these impossible questions, I kind of ask and think, why the hell have you picked that up? Right? So don't forget, a Three of Swords does mean thinking. It means a thought. So if your question is ever what's being hidden from me, if a general tarot card reader could say, right, I'll dump this person because there's a third party, and you end a relationship because you think that there is, I wouldn't want someone to do that. I don't want to end your relationship because someone thinks there is. Now, if they was to say, well, I know there is, well, then I say, well, come on then, sweetheart, what are you doing with this person? Right? I would advise you differently. So if you know there is, there is. If you think there is, that is there of a thought. But this is why I try to be very cautious what I say now. This is what I try not to let all of you become. Because if you accuse someone of a third party and there isn't, you're inadvertently actually gaslighting the person. Gaslighting means I'm trying to convince you that something is happening. So without evidence, you gaslight a person by blaming them for a third party that you think. So they think that you're fucking nuts and that you're blaming me for a third party and for things that I haven't even done. Are you all right? What is wrong with you? You're gaslighting me. You're a narcissist over what? A thought or an actual action? Because if you are being gaslit and you are being lied to, a liar is a liar. They're not going to tell you the truth because that's why they're a liar. They're not going to actually tell you the truth, are they? Right? So this is why a tarot reader can never give you an actual answer of something that you don't know. Right. Now, what I can tell you is that, yes, you are a counterpart, king and queen, but you're arguing more than likely and bickering and probably splitting up over narcissistic traits of behavior of ghosting, manipulating and lying, or accusing. This is an accusation. 5 is accusing a king, right? The 5 looks at the king as if to say, right, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you not doing? Are you seeing someone? Are you cheating? And why did you or why did you not, right? That's coming towards the king because it's looking at the king. It's arguing with the king. Well, he keeps hiding the smallest of things, so it makes me wonder what else he's hiding. Well, what small things? I mean, I've been with exes and I've probably wanted to bang one out and I haven't wanted her to know. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, people do have, men definitely do. They have their own little things that they don't want. Like, majority of my mates, right, if they earn a bit of cash, they go to work, say, and they earn a bit of cash, they don't fucking tell their partner or their wife that they've earned cash because she wants it. And he doesn't want to give her it. So he'll earn some cash and he'll stick it in his pocket and he'll hide that from her because he knows if she finds out, she's going to take it off me. Now, are they general little things like that? Because us men do actually do that. You know, we do that. But this is what I try to get you guys, like, to make sure that you know, okay? To make sure that you know. Because if you don't actually know, your partner will look at you as crazy. I'm not kidding you. They will. I would look at my partner as crazy. If she was yelling and screaming at me because of something that I might have done, I would say, you're off your mind, bruv. What are you talking about? Right? What are you talking about? Small things as him being in communication with others. Okay, so he has. Or like, is it, like I said, is it? Because if you're being gaslit, right, he could actually be doing it and he is actually lying to you, right? But I can't, as an actual reader of truth, I can't tell you that. These cards doesn't say that. It does, or does it, because of gaslighting? But I can't never tell which one it's coming from because of distrust. You don't trust him. You don't trust him. Now, people that don't trust each other do blame each other. I had it with my ex. She accused me of all sorts of stuff that I hadn't done. She accused me of loads of stuff and I actually haven't done it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I haven't done that. I didn't do that. Where are you getting that info from? So it does actually happen to men, right? Happens to both. But what I'm trying to say to you is that I can't pinpoint who, right? Because even if I said, right, okay, let me look at his energy, right? And he had this, it would still tell me, it wouldn't say, okay, his energy is saying that he's doing it. Because it could say he's a victim of it. Right? You still get both ways. Someone's either a victim of it or someone is actually doing it. So still, that is the better of the devil you know, is where I can't give you a true answer because someone is doing it. He has. There you go. So there's your answer. He has. So it's destined to fail because you don't trust him. That is a really important fact. He has. Right? So you know. So you don't need proof. You already know. So your accusations are valid because he has. It's because you don't trust him. Right? It's because you don't trust him. So you already know that. So now the question changes. The question changes of where you don't need to argue about this anymore. You need to leave because you don't trust him. and that'll keep raising itself up again and again and again and again because of the distrust. You can't mend distrust. You can't fix it, right? You can't physically fix distrust. Do you know what I'm saying, Cheesecake? What would you do, Cheesecake? What is your, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because, like, the more you want to find out, the more you actually already know, right? So the answer's actually been given to you, right? So when it comes to, like, king, queen, this isn't woman, it's women. This isn't man, it's men. Because this can be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Scorpio can be Aries because it's 4, right? And the same here, right? If there's a 3, that means that this can be a counterpart within a counterpart. I'm talking to a female, right? Communication, female. Coming back home after talking to a female, there is a third party. You argue with him because he may be seeing this woman, and then there's gaslighting and lying because there is another woman, right? I've told him love isn't the problem, it's me being able to trust. That's the issue. Well, yeah, but you see, a person doesn't really have to do anything to not make you trust them or trust them. Because any little thing, like you said, any little thing is going to trigger you off to think that he's doing it, right? Because he could just literally just be hiding a bit of money or something. But this is why this is minor, but it's actually major. It's a minor card, but it's a major fucking thing. It's not just like, snap, crackle, and pop. It's minor cards, but a major thing. So over anything small and minor creates a major incident because of minor little things, because I don't trust you, right? So like you said, he seems to be very shady because he might be hiding little things, but that small thing is a major thing to you. So do you know what I'm saying? It's like, what do they call it? What's the term? Making a mole out of a mountain, or making a drama out of a crisis, right? Making a mountain out of a molehill, adding more pressure and more things onto something that's small to make it bigger than it actually is. And you're getting that response because of the trust issues. Right. Right, so that's that one. Hey, Suzuk. But that might be true, but I ain't the kind of person that can just muddy collar around people. Right. 2 wongs don't make a white. Makes a wong. Right. Welcome to the Towerings. Welcome to the Towerings. I think we're all out of questions. Woo. That was a round robin. Hi there. I'm a Virgo, and my other half is a Capricorn. Should I move out of state with him or what? I don't know, do you want to? I know he is lying to me about something. Oh, I can't answer that one. Man, y'all lot give me a fucking headache. God. I'm doing donation readings, sort of like very short readings, not long drawn out. Like what does the rest of my year look like? And I can't answer questions that people haven't spoken in years either. Like I can't answer those; they're not valid questions. Men don't understand that. Fucking trust me, we do. Right, we do. You know, what should be understood is, really, if you don't trust me, then what are you doing here? Right? Because push to the limit is what I would say. If you don't trust me, then what are you doing here? Right? There we go. $4.99. What be your question? But I need names. Sorry, cheesecake. I'm not giving you a hard time, trust me, I'm not. But I am telling you the truth as a guy. If I had cheated in the past, then, you know, I would still get to that point of like, look, you're either going to fucking trust me or you're not. But, you know, you either stay or you leave. It's up to you. But I'm not going to keep going through the same fucking thing. You know, if you don't trust me, you don't trust me. But shut up. I'm sorry, but I would say that. Right, I would say that. But I wouldn't cheat in the first place. I'm not a cheater. I've never cheated in any of my relationships. I've always waited for them to be over before I've actually been with someone else. I've been with someone else after a relationship, but I've never been with someone during a relationship. Okay. New person. Okay, I have a question. I'm not answering free questions. You have to leave a super chat. Hi there. My name is Rosie. General Reed. Rosie. Rosie and Jim. Rosie and Jim. What's coming up for Rosie? Maybe at afar there could be a Leo energy. Rosie. Communication. Wow, sex and passion. Someone's looking at someone and they're not even paying attention to the fact that what's behind them is someone that's right here. Someone might want to go in the behind stages. Well, I'm broke. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't know. Get your own channel. I'm not here to be victimized or told what to do. Trust me, I have 3 places of Scorpio. Please do not set me off. All right? And people have better advice, then fucking give it on your own channels. But again, Cheesecake, I'm sorry if that upset you. But you all know me by now. I don't beat around the bush. I tell it as it is, physically. I'm an Aries Sun and Moon Gemini rising. We're all a mess. He started threatening you. Yeah, you see, then again, Cheesecake. Sorry, man, if I keep calling you Cheesecake. Anna, leave, sweetheart, leave. You really do need to leave. That sounds like a very violent, abusive, narcissistic relationship there, right? When that first happened, of when, like, he cheated, right? That told you something. So, I would leave. So sorry. When there's violence, leaving immediately. Exactly. Right. Kind of like that Athena. She's gonna You seem to be more on my wavelength, Athena. So who was I doing this for? I'm Aries, Sun and Moon, Gemini rising. My name is Rosie. Rosie. Queen of Swords. You got a spiritual divine relationship here. Well, you're actually in it, Rosie. Is it Rosie? Rossi. Alexa, how do you pronounce Rosi?
Good evening, Stephen. I pronounce that Rosie, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.
Rosie. So there is someone long distance thinking of me. Well, this is the Two of Wands. But it's looking out this way. I think so. I think so. Because this is like someone that's looking outwardly and thinking, and then this is someone that's looking or wanting to be with you, but you're not paying attention or looking that way. It's a spiritual divine energy of possibly looking or thinking about relationship. Yeah. But this is where people end up getting pissed off. This is thinking, is there this person that is out there thinking about me? So that makes sense. I wonder which option is the divine one. So do you have actual options? You actually have options? Because there is a divine energy here, but do any signs come to mind? Well, Sagittarius, Leo, they're the only two star signs, but Leo can come up as an 8, which is Aquarius. Sagittarius can come up as a Taurus because it's a 5. They're the 2 star signs. Well, fire sign, put it that way, because you've got King of Wands, so you've got fire sign. Fire sign, fire sign, fire sign. That's what people call you, cheesecake, is it? Yeah, sorry, Anna, or cheesecake. I kind of, I really think that you should leave. I really do. So there's an Aquarius and a Sag, exactly. Yeah, could have Leo in his chart, but 8 I read in numerology. So because the star is an 8 and the strength card is an 8 as well. Temperance is a 5, which is Sagittarius, but Taurus is also a 5. So it can say that people have these in their alignment of chart, right? So this would just mean strong connection with a possible Aquarian energy, okay? Wanting a divine spiritual connection of relationship, right? Yeah, the Aquarius could well have Leo dominantly in his chart, right? Dominantly in his chart. Do I believe in the Bible? No, never read it. No, not for a Pisces yet. I've got to do a Pisces soon. Like when I go off remote viewings, I take a look to see which star signs or which videos have actually done really well. Like I do like doing Cancer readings, but when I do them, they only normally reach about 1,500. If I do, say, like a Gemini reading, I get 7,000, right? So if you look at it like this, I don't know if you know how much tarot readers get, but say, for instance, if I was to do a Cancer reading, I would probably earn £2.50. If I did a Gemini reading, I would probably earn £50. So what would you do if you was running a business? Would you keep doing the ones where you get £2.50, right, and waste your energy and your time and not really get much money? Or would you focus on the one where you're getting a lot more money? That's the way it works as a business, right? And that's the truth of it. The Sagittarius is closer to me and the Aquarius is long distance. Okay, well, how long distance? How long distance? What's the possibility? Because that's what you've got to ask yourself, right? If it's like UK, America, for instance, that long, right? Yeah, if y'all guys haven't found my Facebook or the app, there's an app that keeps coming up, right? The app it's got all of my details on it there. Okay. It'll have what readings you can do, blah, blah, blah. You can contact me on WhatsApp or Facebook and ask about readings or for the link. The link to the shop is all there. Everything you need is in that app that the Nightbot keeps putting up. Okay. But yeah, if you look at, so what you have to look at is, do any of you have children? Because children of long distance relationships is virtually impossible for someone to just pack up their stuff and move. If the person at a long distance doesn't really have any ties, like a mortgage and a house and children, that would make it virtually impossible for that to come together if that was at a long distance. You would have to move yourself, right? Very far. Unrealistic, I think. Right, there you go. So you've got your unrealistic energy. Neither of you have children. That's good. That's good. Because you have to look at the obstacles that are in the way, right? You could have, I've had very strong connections with people on this channel. and they've ended up karmic. But you know, the one of the things that has always been a real major problem is because there's nobody's wanted to move, and there's been children, and there's been houses, and there's been jobs, and there's been, you know, need to wait years for anything to happen, and it's like, oh, fuck this. It's long distance relationships with a lot of obstacles, and it is a very big fucking factor of like, you know, do I really want to keep seeing this through and it never really happened, or do I just cut my losses and, you know, find someone that doesn't have much obstacles? That's a good match, actually. Sun, Gemini, Moon, Virgo, and Cancer. But yeah. So you are free to move. Well, that's okay then. So you can contact the Sagittarian. If you do, and you're female, you really want him to come to you, right? Because I wouldn't never really suggest, well, depending on how old you are, really, but I wouldn't really suggest just like, you know, being a female and packing up all my stuff and going to visit a male. If he really wanted to see you and meet you and be with you, he should do the honourable thing and come into you, right? And then you take it from there. Now, if there ever are kind of like third parties, but you've never actually been with any of them and you've never really dumped anyone, you can always tell one of them, look, I really do like you, but I have met someone, right? If at any point any of us are actually single in the future, there's nothing to say that you can't actually meet back up with the person. You just have to keep in contact, sort of thing. So the relationship is there on offer, but mainly with the Sagittarius, because the Six of Cups is right near the Sagittarian energy, right? That's kind of like the one that I really want, and that I would, because this can represent moving house and family, visiting families, visiting the place, and it can represent relationship, right? Yeah. So, like, you know, if you've got options and you're single, and the options that you got are also single, there is nothing to ever really say that you can't never meet up with one of those other options in the future if something goes wrong. You just have to be really nice and honest with the people that you got options with. Say, look, you know, I really do like you, but I'm sorry, but at the same time I met you, I also met someone else, and we've kind of planned and arranged to meet up. But the only thing I can offer you is if it doesn't work and you are single at a later date, then maybe we could go out on a date. But at the moment, I've got something that I want to kind of pursue. If he says, oh, well, fuck you then, well, there you go, right? A decent person should say, oh, never mind, I missed out, but hope you get on well. No worries, thank you. So, has everybody kind of got over the grilling? So, if you do like the way I read, you can join the join button. Why do people think I'm a fortune teller, man? Thank you for subscribing. But if you do like the way I read and you want to join the join button, what you get is weekly readings for your star signs all of the time. I try to normally, with ADHD and all the other business and stuff that I have, I try to get three, maybe sometimes 4 done per day. And then when you get a remote viewing on YouTube, you also get an extended as well. And that is all for the price of only $4 per month. What do you know? Right. So I think we're going to come to a conclusion or end. I think we've had quite a few payments and a few questions and answers there. So if any of you want to inquire about reading or about where they are or whatever to do, the Nightbot keeps giving you, this app has the link to personal WhatsApp numbers, my personal Facebook page and Messenger. Try my new app, and it also gives you a link to the readings page and everything else. All you've got to do is click on the link for the app. When you've got the app open, save it to your favorites. If it's Chrome, it's quite easy. You just look for where it says save to favorites. You save it to your favorites and you've always got it there. So there you go, guys. Thanks very much. Really do appreciate it.